Good evening, and welcome to Weird-O-Rama. I'm your host, Victor von Psychotron, and all of us at Weird-O-Rama will always strive to bring you the creepy. The strange. And, of course, the weird.
I'd like to see you riding your bicycle with a Circassian slave, lovely as sin, across the handlebars.
We are here at DragonCon in Atlanta, Georgia, having a crazy time. And tonight we are bringing you a special Boris Karloff film, The Ghoul, considered lost until it was found in a film vault in the 1980s. So, lock all of your doors and windows, turn off all of your lights, sit back, have a cup of tea, and enjoy tonight's film, The Ghoul. But first, a short film.
Wasteland. In the northeastern corner of Africa, on the only land in Asia, in almost Egypt. A thin ribbon of water is the source of life for 20 million people along the banks of one of them in the world, the Nile. It begins in the fertile areas of Central Africa and Ethiopia and flows with ever-increasing strength and vigor through the high plateau of the Sudan. Its two main branches, the White and the Blue Nile, join at Khartoum. After passing a series of cataracts, the Nile reaches Egypt and the temple at Abu Simbel. The family of Ramses II watched over the river for 3,000 years, years that saw Ramses' kingdom become a memory. Western civilization spent its infancy in Egypt along the shores of the river. But Egypt is struggling for a new and modern life. Here at Aswan, the Nile, Egypt's only reliable source of water, is trapped in a reservoir 100 miles long. This used to be the site of the historical First Cataract, the end of river travel on the Nile, the jumping off spot to Central Africa in the south. Here, like nearly everywhere else in Egypt, the people live close to the waters of the Nile. They are Nubian peasants, accustomed by tradition to lifelong labors. Their techniques were old when Egypt was young. Their customs, habits, clothes, and tools are old. Their only wealth is the livestock that shares their mud homes. Their other belongings are few and simple. The dam at Aswan has changed much of Egypt. In the more than 50 years it was built, Bedouins from the desert have grown accustomed to crossing it on their way to the markets and streets of the city. As in most of the settlements of Egypt, the faces in the marketplace may have changed in the last few thousand years, but the buying and selling remain the same. Aswan has been a trading center for thousands of years. In the days of Egypt's ancient glory, Aswan was a city of the first importance. This was Egypt's frontier. The dam at Aswan has done more than extend the frontier. It is one of the most vital engineering accomplishments in recent Egyptian history. It helps to control the flow of the Nile. No more annual floods followed by annual droughts. Water is held at Aswan until it is needed. No more is river traffic blocked at Aswan. 4 locks of the dam are operated by a new generation of Egyptians with technical training. Along the broad course of the river, most of the goods of Egypt move on their way to markets. But for many Egyptians, the main use for the river is to spread its life-giving water on their thirsty land. Since the dawn of history, the Fellahin, The farmers of Middle Egypt have known the back-breaking labor of moving water to arid fields. Little has changed over the centuries. Hand labor in flat, irrigated fields still produces most of Egypt's crops. Where water can be brought to the soil, the land is fertile and productive. But parts of the valley are limited by steep sandstone cliffs, which confine irrigation. In some cliffs can be found the Egyptian limestone, which has been famous for centuries. Few modern tools have been adopted by the limestone workmen. Again, most of the labor is still done by hand. Limestone, like most other products of Egypt, is carried to its destination by water, then moved ashore on a man's back. The Nile is truly the river of life in Egypt, and has been since men came to this land. In the whole length of the Middle Egyptian River Valley can be found the remains of civilizations that were dying when Rome was the center of the world. At Luxor, Thebes, and Memnon, there was a highly developed and flourishing civilization when the woodlands of Europe were thinly peopled with savage tribesmen. These ancient civilizations, too, were clustered along the narrow valley of the Nile, at some places 15 miles across, at others only a few hundred yards wide. Where the waters of the Nile cannot reach the earth, Egypt is a barren, trackless desert. Only a small percentage of Egypt's growing population lives away from the banks of the Nile, for rain is scanty on the desert, and oases with reliable water supplies are widely scattered. There are no year-round tributaries to the Nile below Aswan. Most of Egypt's water must come from the river. Where the river flows, there is a green and fertile belt, where dates, oranges, lemons, pomegranates, grapes, melons, onions, cotton, corn, wheat, and millet grow. Typical of the cities of Middle Egypt is Asyut, 320 miles north of Aswan. It is a market town set near the river. You might think, to look at it closely, that you had somewhere lost a few centuries and were living in the past. Except for a few people wearing modern clothes, you could believe that this was a city waiting for the Crusades to begin. But there is a new spirit in Asyut these days, which is expressed in electric power lines, broad avenues, and new buildings. At Asyut, you can find a kind of dam called a barrage, which holds up the level of the Nile water so that nearby farmers can irrigate their fields even during the dry season. There are several barrages along the Nile. Here, the valley is broad and fertile. Every tiny bit of land is used. Every precious drop of water carefully taken to the thirsty roots. When Moses fled out of Egypt, this kind of water wheel may have been used in this same spot. And this man's ancestor might have worked this same land or lived in a mud house that looks just like this one. Egyptians used the Nile to transport their goods. This sugar cane could not grow without the water of the Nile, nor could it be easily moved to market. But the small sailboat brings it to a small market town, and the cane is landed by hand. Even the leaves are stripped from the stalk by hand. "250 miles downriver from Asyut stand the world-famous pyramids at Giza. Built as monumental tombs for Egyptian pharaohs, they have survived 50 centuries of weather and 200 generations of men." Near them, the largest and best known of Egypt's sphinxes stares 8 miles across the river at Egypt's biggest city, Cairo, the capital. Some of the people of Cairo make their living in modern cotton factories. Travelers come from all over the world to Cairo, for Cairo is a modern city, a city of skyscrapers, a city of hurried activity, as cosmopolitan as any capital in the world, a city on the route from Africa to the Middle East, from Europe to Asia, a city of wealth in a land of poverty. Modern apartment buildings dot the city, but in the shadows of the new city can be found the old. Here, the crafts of Egypt's past still flourish. Young men of Cairo still make rugs by hand in the bazaar. The delicate art of inlaying wooden boxes is still being practiced. The work is painstaking and beautiful. From the bazaar, intricate silverwork might find its way to one of Cairo's many Christian churches. Or it might show up in a synagogue. But probably, if the silverwork were to be used in a place of worship at all, it would end up in a Mohammedan mosque, for most Egyptians are Muslims. Cairo is an important center of learning. El Azhar, the Mohammedan university, attracts students from all over the Muslim world. Cairo is a city of many peoples. And Cairo is a center of transportation. The most widely used form of travel in Egypt is by boat. A railroad runs from Aswan to the sea, but most Egyptians are too poor to use it. Cairo has been called the diamond in the handle of the fan of Egypt. It's easy to see why when one leaves the city by air. For near Cairo, the Nile splits into several channels, forming a fan-shaped delta interlaced by waterways. This is probably the most fertile land in the world, but most of it is overcrowded. Most of Egypt's annual production of millions of bushels of corn, wheat, and rice comes from the delta land. Egypt grows 6% of the world's total annual cotton production. Egyptian long staple cotton, blooming here, has been valued for its soft and sturdy qualities by cloth makers all over the world. Sugarcane grows in the delta. In every field, peasants gain a hard-won living from the soil. Crops for export find their way to Alexandria, one of the most valuable seaports in the world, the key to the fruitfulness of the Nile Valley. Here, too, is a modern city built around its shipping business. 4,000 ships a year come and go from Alexandria. They carry out some of the exports of Egypt, like tobacco and rice. But the most valuable export by far is raw cotton. Cotton for the hungry looms of more industrial nations. Finally, the Nile loses itself in the sea. But Egypt does not end here, for to the east in Egypt can be found one of the most vital waterways of the world, the Suez Canal. Over 10,000 ships a year take this short water route from Europe to the Far East. In time, it will belong entirely to Egypt, which now holds only shares in the company which controls it. Modern Egypt is important in the world situation.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, time for the show. Once again, thank you for coming to our theater tonight. Have an enjoyable evening. The refreshment stand will remain open for a short time. Still plenty of time to get a snack or cold drink. We'll make an announcement before the stand closes to give you plenty of time to get that last-minute treat.
We don't want to buy no lino, no nothing.
Mr. Dragore, please.
Oh, him.
No sound, please. After 2 years I find you. I want the eternal light.
You found me too late. It's no longer mine.
I can kill with this from the end of the room. No lies, please.
You cannot kill in England, Mahmoud. They get their murderers here and hang them.
I have not come alone. If I hang, there are others. The eternal light goes back to the tomb from which you stole it.
But I tell you, I have not got it.
Please, I am not a child.
I sold it.
To whom did you sell it?
To Professor Morland.
That robber of the dead. Has he sold it?
He did not buy to sell.
What then?
Like you, Mahmoud. She believes.
Believes? He believes that the eternal light will open for him the gates of paradise?
Even so, he gave the best part of his fortune for it. And very soon he will know whether or not he was right.
What do you mean?
Professor Morland is dying.
Then you think it will be buried with him?
I'm sure of it. We have only got to wait until he is dead.
I knew this. Open out of the way. What's that?
Well, what is it?
Good evening. I happen to be staying in the neighborhood, and hearing of your master's illness, I took the liberty of calling. How is he tonight?
He'll never see the morning.
He hasn't asked for anyone of my cloth.
Nor will he. He's set in his ways, and they're the ways of the heathen.
I know he won't see the rector, but though I'm a comparative stranger, I don't like to leave a man to die like that.
He'll die in his own fashion, as he has lived.
Still, sometimes at the end.
Not with him. He's stubborn and unbending, and will be so at the throne itself.
Well, I suppose I can be of no use then.
No manner of use.
Good night.
He's asking for you. Where can I find Mr. Brown?
Who is it? Come in or go out.
You'll have to go up soon if you want to see him again. Curious house, this.
Curious owner.
Yes, but I suppose a great Egyptologist can't be expected to be like other people.
Well, he'll be like a great many other people soon.
That's not a very sympathetic thing to say.
Well, I'm not a sympathetic man. Want a drink?
That's, across the hall, isn't it?
I dare say.
Thanks.
$75,000, September 22nd, 1931.
Daily Journal.
The eternal light, mine at last.
What's he learned?
I'm here
Is the door shut?
It is.
No listeners.
None.
The curtains.
They are drawn.
Come nearer. This man, Brown. Watch. Brown.
You were always suspicious. Have you ever trusted a living soul?
Only fools. I trust you.
Better to trust in the spirit than in the flesh.
I put my trust in my own gods. And now, when I am dead, my funeral, you will bury me at dusk in the clothes I told you. You will place the figure of Anubis at the west of the inner chamber.
I will.
And on the night of the full moon, at the first hour, I will make my offering of the eternal light to Anubis, opener of the ways. If I have done well in his sight, those fingers will close over the jewel, and he will open to me the gates of immortality.
The hand of a heathen image will now come to life.
Ah, the bandage. The bandage. Look. This is the eternal light. It must rest in my hand.
A man will now find peace who robs his heirs.
Bandage my hand. The eternal light must lie with me in the tomb. You're afraid of me?
I'm afraid for you.
If this should leave me, then you'll have reason to fear. For when the full moon strikes the door of my tomb, I will come back. You hear? I will come back to kill. Bandage my hand.
Doctor! Windows. Open. Oh.
It's all over. Make out a certificate. Heart failure. What was the idea of bandaging his hand like that?
I cannot say. He had many a queer fancy.
I'll be round in the morning to sign the certificate.
I'll no be leaving my master's side till his body is laid to rest.
Where are you going?
To feed the lamp that is to burn inside.
It's all wrong.
This whole right here is upsetting. It's a disgraceful devil.
Wait! You're leaving the key inside.
Aye, that was another of his queer fancies.
When your master died, Lang, I believe him to have been possessed of a jewel of great value. Do you know anything about it?
Nothing.
I advise you to be very careful, Lang.
I have a careful nature.
You may be putting yourself perilously near dishonesty.
I've seen men nearer.
You may regret this, Lang. Davis, I want you to stay here and watch that man with the club foot.
I'm not a detective, Mr. Broughton.
One more word from you, Davis, and you're out of work. I have reason to believe that he has stolen a valuable piece of property. He may make an effort to get rid of it. Watch him and telephone me at my office if he leaves the house.
Very good, sir.
Hello there. Time for Two Truths and a Lie, in which I will tell you two truths and one lie about this film, The Ghoul, and you must guess the lie. First, this is only the third British horror film to feature sound. Second, producer Michael Ballon is Daniel Day-Lewis's grandfather. Third, Sir Cedric Hardwicke was knighted by King George V, who was hard of hearing, so when he knighted him, he said, "Arise, Sir Cedric Pickwick." There you have it. I'll tell you the lie by the end of the film. Good luck.
Pardon. Miss Betty Harlan, 52 Blandford Street.
Carry up!
From Wrexham. 10 shillings if you'll drive me to Yaxford Station in time to catch the 5 o'clock train.
I'll oblige you, Governor. I was going straight back as it was.
That's a very old carpet, Mr. Morland. I should be glad if you will not kick it to pieces.
I'm sorry. When I'm angry, I do kick.
You're good enough to explain that.
Yes, I intend to. By your own statement, Miss Holland and I are the sole heirs of Professor Morland. We were informed neither of his death nor of his funeral.
Your uncle died and was buried in a certain way according to his wishes, which need I go on? Almost his last words were a threat to return from the dead. In my opinion, he was mad.
Well, that may be so. But Miss Holland and I should have been consulted.
But I understood that you and Miss Holland were not on speaking terms.
Well, what of that? You expect quiet at a funeral, don't you?
Yes, I also expect it in my office.
I'm very sorry, but after all, this means a good deal to both of us. My uncle was worth about $4,000 a year.
Well, he isn't now.
What do you mean by that?
He spent a good deal, you know. It may surprise you to know that some time ago he drew a cheque for £75,000.
What for?
I don't know.
You don't know? You were in charge of all his affairs and you don't know?
That's what I said. And I advise you to look after the tone of your voice.
I'm not at all sure. I haven't much more important things to look after than the tone of my voice.
I don't follow you.
I'm going to run down to Owlsvale House tomorrow morning.
Yes, I don't think you realize the conditions that you'll find there.
No, that's why I propose to go.
You won't like it. You'll be most uncomfortable.
You don't advise me to go?
I think you'll be making a very big mistake.
Then I'll go. Oh, by the way, does Miss Harlan know anything about this will business?
No doubt she will have received a letter from me by now.
Do you know Miss Harlan?
No. I propose to give myself the pleasure of calling upon her this evening. Hello. Oh, it's you, Davies. Wait a minute. I have a visitor here, but I think he's just going.
Thank you very much. If you're going to see Miss Harlan tonight, I shall be there myself.
No doubt you will succeed in making a painful interview intolerable. Good afternoon.
Your manner must help your practice a great deal.
Now, Davies.
Can you direct me to Blandford Street, please?
Follow the tram lines close on a mile and then turn right at the church.
I'm obliged to you.
Oh, hello, Caney. Ooh. Oh, it's good to get out of that fog.
My dear, a most exciting thing has happened.
Oh, don't let it happen again.
No, not that. That's a chestnut. It's this. It looks like a solicitor's letter. Just been delivered by hand.
Oh, dear. What haven't we paid? I wonder if I'm going to get a shock or not. Oh, Caney, that is a silly game. After all we've said about Uncle Henry, what do you think he's done?
Something nice at last?
He's dead.
My dear, I'm sorry.
And his solicitor wants to see me.
My dear, I'm glad. He was awfully rich, wasn't he? He may have left you a fortune.
If he has, I'll buy you a private cinema. I say, when did this letter come?
A few minutes ago. Why?
He asked me to telephone him if I could see him here at 6.
You don't want to miss the chance of a fortune for the sake of tuppence. You better run out and do it now.
You're right.
Miss Harlan.
Yes?
What's happened?
Somebody attacked me and snatched my bag.
Why, good Lord, it's Betty Harlan.
Rafe Morland.
You would go and get yourself into some kind of mix-up.
You would arrive when it's all over.
Thank you.
Well, I'm going home.
Wait a minute. I was on my way to see you, strictly on business.
You wouldn't be allowed in for any other reason.
That's good.
Taxi! Cunningham Garage, as quickly as possible.
him. Dear Mr. Broughton, we're delighted to see you.
No, it isn't Mr. Broughton. It's my cousin, Rafe Morland.
Dear Mr. Morland, we're delighted to see you.
Wrong again. We don't like him very much.
Oh, don't we? I didn't realize.
Well, our two families are not on speaking terms.
Oh, dear.
As far as I can make out, it was started by my late uncle as a Christmas joke.
Won't you sit down?
Thank you.
But now he's dead. The trouble's all over.
I'm not sure. It hasn't just begun.
Where's Mr. Broughton?
Oh, he won't come because I didn't telephone. I nearly got throttled instead.
Betty!
There was a man with a limp. He pushed a note into my hand. I just put it in my bag when somebody snatched the whole affair.
What was in it?
There's something of value at Owl's Vale. Others are after it, so come.
And Broughton was doing everything he knew to keep me away from there. There's a fox in the cover somewhere. Goodbye.
Oh, why goodbye?
I'm going down there right away. I'll let you know what happens.
You're wrong. I'll let myself know. If you go, I go too.
You can't do that. Alone in a house with a man you're not even on speaking terms with?
Oh, don't be so absurd. It's not as if I even liked him.
Oh, if another woman was going, perhaps.
I suppose that means you want to come too.
Well, obviously, it's my duty.
And suppose I object?
I'm not so broke I can't hire a car.
Oh, all right, you win, but for goodness sake, hurry. Girls must get in this as best you can. There you are.
first. No, you. Hurry up. Oh, this is an unspeakable car. There's no room for my legs. All right, come on.
It looks as if I'll have to walk.
You might do worse. There's a grand moon. It's full.
I'll see if there's a name on this gate. No, there's nothing to show. This is the place.
But there aren't any other places, and I'm frozen.
Well, it's no use going to the wrong place.
Wait a minute, here's someone on a bike. Hi there, Cocky. Wait a minute. Oh, hello. I'm awfully sorry. I didn't see you were a parson.
Oh, that's all right. Any trouble?
Oh, no, no. We just want to get to Owlsvale House.
Well, this is it. As a matter of fact, I'm calling there myself.
But did you know my uncle, Professor Morland?
Oh, slightly. Perhaps I ought to introduce myself. My name's Hartley, Nigel Hartley. I'm down at Raveley. The vicar's ill.
How do you do? I'm Rafe Morland. This is Miss Harlem. We're the heirs of the old...
Couldn't we have the rest of the introduction indoors?
Yes, yes, of course. You must be cold. Now, it's straight down this drive. You go along, I'll follow.
All right.
Here we are. Car'll be all right here. I'll show you the way.
It's coming. Here it comes. It's intermission time. Time to visit our concession stand.
Rapier's Dry Cleaners, 117 North Columbus Street. Highest quality dry cleaning and finishing at cash and carry discount prices. Rapier's service is unexcelled. We help you protect your fine clothes. Highly trained professionals using the most modern methods and equipment clean and finish your garments with the utmost care. Small repairs plus full tailoring services is another feature at Rapier's. For the finest cleaning and finishing at cash and carry discount prices, it's Rapier's Dry Cleaners, 117 North Columbus Street. Martin Music Center carries a complete line of the finest musical instruments and supplies. Exclusive dealer for Hammond, Cable, and Melloid grand organs and pianos. Let Russ Parrish, manager, or Earl Nicola show you the beautiful new models of Hammond organs. Class instruction by the talented teaching staff makes learning easy and fun. So for all of your musical needs, visit Martin's Music Center, 537 North Columbus Street. The Village Shop, first choice of style-conscious men and women. Donna V. Sawyer helps select from top-name brands as His for Her, Seton Hall, and Villager. Manager Ray Underwood and Nick McSullen offer famous HIS brand suits, slacks, sport coats. Bob Shamanky personally guarantees your complete satisfaction with all purchases. Free alterations and monogramming. The Village Shop, fashion headquarters in Lancaster, 164 West Main Street. Diamond Jim's fabulous foods are as close as your phone. Call 653-6532 for your order of fine food. Diamond Jim supervises the preparation of the famous pizza with the 14-carat taste. A delicious treat for the whole family. Real homemade Italian spaghetti, another specialty prepared for take-home service. Roasted chicken, never frozen, always fresh, seasoned and prepared from Diamond Jim's unique recipe. Truly chicken at its finest. That's Diamond Jim's Take-Home Restaurant, 1570 East Main Street. Phone 653-6532. Come out or call tonight.
What's to eat? What's to drink?
Good food galore.
Quick as a wink.
Ice cream bars. It's the handy way to enjoy smooth, rich, creamy ice cream. Get some. It's 4 minutes till showtime.
Hello there. Time for some words about some of the cast and crew of tonight's film, The Ghoul. First, the director T. Hayes Hunter did not direct a lot of horror films after this, actually, and directed mostly silent films for most of his career. The screenwriter, Roland Pertwee, he wrote the original 1937 screenplay for King Solomon's Mines. Michael Balcon, he was the producer of this film. He was a producer on Tom Jones, which won Best Picture. He was also a producer on The Lady Killers and a lot of early work with Hitchcock, like The Man Who Knew Too Much and The 39 Steps. You also have Gunther Kramp, who is the cinematographer of this film, who also shot Hands of Orlak. And then you have Ralph Kempler, who was the editor of this film, who had a magnificent career. Nominated for 2 Oscars, one for Day of the Jackal, one for Moulin Rouge, and he won an Oscar for Oliver, which you have to pronounce it like that because there's an exclamation point in the title. It's not just he won for Oliver, it's he won for Oliver! Just so you know. And he also edited The Dark Crystal. That was the last film he ever worked on. The Great Muppet Caper, African Queen, The Omen. You also have Boris Karloff, of course, in this film, and what more can I say about him? He's a horror legend. He played Frankenstein's monster, of course, and many other amazing roles. I've hosted him on The Ape, and The Fatal Hour, an episode of The Veil, and so many other great works. Please just look up everything he's ever been in. Then you also have Cedric Hardwicke, not Cedric, he pronounced it Cedric Hardwick. He was an established and well-known stage actor of his time. He was in The Ten Commandments. He did voice work in War of the Worlds. He was around the world in 80 Days. He was the ghost in Ghost of Frankenstein, and he was also in The Invisible Man Returns. And then Ernest Thesiger, who plays Lang, is best known as Dr. Pretorius from Bride of Frankenstein. He was also in A Christmas Carol, The Robe, The Old Dark House. Dorothy Hyson, who plays Betty, was a West End stage actress and highly regarded as one of the most beautiful women of her time. Another recognizable face and well-known character actor in this is none other than Ralph Richardson, who plays Nigel, and he was in Dr. Zhivago, he was in Time Bandits, he played God, he was the original Crypt Keeper in Tales from the Crypt, he was in Rollerball, he was in Dragon Slayer. He had Oscar nominations for The Heiress and Greystoke, The Legend of Tarzan, and The Ghoul, was his first film, believe it or not. So we hope you are enjoying the film. We'll get right back to it after this word from our sponsor.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've devised a torture test between your lighter and my Ronson Comet. Put your thumb on the side of your lighter. Squeeze the light out of it. The Ronson Comet can. Find a dangerous, windy place and see if your flame will blow out. The Ronson Comet won't. Now, twist its neck and see if your lighter carries 2 spare flints and a replaceable spark wheel. The Ronson Comet does. Carefully turn out the lights and adjust your flame to cigarette, cigar, and pipe. Now try to inject your lighter with life-giving butane. 1 gulp from the Ronson multi-pill, and the Comet can light for months. If your lighter can't do half the things the Ronson Comet can, get one and have your own torture test.
What a horrible house. I wish I was back home in bed.
I can hear someone coming.
Ah. Well, don't stand about. Come inside. We'll go into the library. I may be old-fashioned, but I feel awkward when I'm not introduced to people.
I'm sorry, I forgot you didn't know your clients by sight. This is Miss Holland.
How do you do? I was expecting a telephone message from you.
Oh, I was on my way to call you up when the most extraordinary thing happened.
And this is Miss Caney.
How do you do?
You're a surprise, Broughton.
I have a great deal of business to clear up down here.
This house has needed a woman for about 25 years. Now I've blinded myself.
You haven't wasted much time in getting here, Mr. Morland.
No, just a little too much, perhaps.
Whatever do you mean? Really, you're the rudest man alive.
Oh, pretty pussy. How horrible. It's stuffed.
I dare say you know your own business best, but why you should want to bring a parson...
A pure accident. We met at the gates.
So naturally you brought him in.
Broughton, I can stand a certain amount, but no more.
Oh, come, don't let's make a battle of it.
You stay here in the car.
No. I shall be among the trees, watching.
You may say I have no right to express this opinion, but to my mind it's a scandalous and disgraceful burial which may have disastrous consequences.
It would be very disastrous if he came back, wouldn't it?
I quite see Mr. Hartley's point.
Yes, you make friends quickly, don't you?
And enemies quicker.
Need we have these childish squabbles?
We all know the dead men don't come back.
I wish I was back home in bed.
Hadn't somebody better answer that?
Certainly. It's your house.
Very well.
I'm sorry to disturb you, but I was an intimate friend of Professor Mullen.
Well, you'd better come in. We seem to be giving a party.
Oh. Well, thank you. My name is Aga Ben Dragore.
An Egyptian.
An Arab.
I don't remember having heard your name.
I did not flatter myself that you would. But I knew Professor Mullen some years ago in Egypt. I heard of his death and of his burial in my own faith. And I hoped, as I am leaving England tomorrow, that I might be allowed to visit his tomb.
I must protest against anything of the sort.
Why shouldn't the poor man look at his friend's tomb?
I don't mind him going.
I can't believe that you'd willingly encourage paganism.
The Egyptians were not pagans, sir. As no doubt you know, Miss...
Caney, I think you're all being very unkind to Mr. Dragore.
I don't think you people realize quite how far Morland's queer ideas took him. He even believed that after his death at a certain hour, the image of Anubis would come to life in his tomb and receive his soul. It's horrible.
Well, I can't see that it matters. After all, if that sort of mumbo-jumbo gave him any comfort,
It matters a great deal.
If my suggestion is likely to hurt anyone's feelings, please forget it.
Oh, I think that's very sweet of you, Mr. Dragore.
Oh, your sympathy is more than charming.
Well, what about a cup of coffee after your cold drive? I dare say we should find some in the kitchen.
May I offer my services as pantryman?
Quite sweet of you. Come, Mr. Dragore.
For sheer speed. She'll not let him out of her sight for a moment now.
Perhaps that's just as well.
Come along, Betty. How about making a fire in the library?
Yes.
I'm sorry there should be this sort of atmosphere. After all, we're only ships that pass in the night.
Do you want a drink or will you pass now?
Oh, well, thank you very much.
There you are.
Well, if you build it that way, there won't be any draft.
Well, it'll be the only place in this house where there isn't one, then.
Oh, don't you think you carry those snappy retorts a trifle too far? Since we met, I can't remember you saying a kind word to anyone.
Perhaps you're right. I'm sorry.
Six cups. That's just 4 too many. Eh?
Tell me about Egypt. Have you ever seen a sheik?
I am one.
What? Oh, thank you. Then how should I address you? Oh, I'm cutting sandwiches for a sheik. I don't feel quite well.
Oh, don't be alarmed. We're not quite as uncivilized as people think.
Oh, don't say that. Do you ride a white stallion?
Sometimes.
Oh, down the path of the moon. The noble animal plunging and frothing up the nostrils till it founders at your feet, faithful unto death.
Well, not very often. You see, it's rather too expensive.
Well, I know it's not your fault. We were taught to hate one another, but...
Good Lord, you don't think I hate you, do you?
Well, I can't somehow feel I'm your dearest friend.
You never did have a great deal of sense, did you?
Oh, that's nice. Rafe, I have a woman's intuition that you and I are up against things.
Yes, I'm pretty sure we are.
Well, then, let's cut the quarreling.
Shoulder to shoulder, eh? All right. Partners.
Partners.
Ah.
Oh, what a wonderful night. It's a full moon.
Scared of a dead man in his tomb? Shame on yourself. Are you a child that your knee should rattle at the talk of a madman? Look your enemy in the face. It's the fear the big door has got you, and will hold you fast till you stare it down. Do dead men walk? I'm no thinking a dead man will cross my path tonight.
was dreaming.
Now I will show you how we make coffee in the desert, underneath the stars.
But you don't make it yourself, do you?
No, of course not. A Circassian slave, lovely as sin, cooks it for us, kneeling. And if it is not to our liking...
I know. She's stripped to the waist and lashed for miles across the Sahara.
where she is finally eaten by locusts, and rightly. Now, take this canister and do exactly as I tell you.
And if I fail?
The Yorkshire moors are just behind us. Now, 6 spoonfuls. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5.
Arms away from me. What's the matter with you? Are you mad, eh?
What was the matter with him? Was it drink?
No. Terror. Stark terror.
Oh, then I've caught it.
You stay here. I'll look after him.
If you must look after somebody, why look further?
Eh? Come on then.
Rafe! That limp, I'd swear to it anywhere. That's the man.
Look here, did you give a note to this young lady?
Gather up your things and get out of here. The master, I've seen him. You...
Who screamed?
I did. That's the last time I'll ever try to make coffee in a strange house.
That man with the limp. Who was he?
Lang, your uncle's servant.
Well, he seemed mad to me.
Yes, and probably dangerous. You others had better go into the library. I'll have a word with him.
Yes, come along. Mr. Broughton understands the man.
It would do no harm to warn my man to stand by.
Your man? Is he a sheik too?
No, he's his chauffeur. He's outside now with my car.
You're not leaving us, are you?
My dear lady.
Not a very courageous person, our foreign friend.
You think he's run away? Absurd. I'd like to see you riding your bicycle with a Circassian slave, lovely as sin, across the handlebars.
What on earth are you talking about?
Now listen, good people.
Good people?
Don't you think perhaps we're allowing this thing to get on our nerves? Don't you think perhaps if we took a grip on our self-control...
Now listen, good parson. This is our show and our nerves are probably just as good as the next man's. So keep that sort of talk for your pulpit.
Ray!
Oh, well, of course, I've no wish to interfere where I'm not wanted.
Then don't. This is not a Sunday school.
After that, I think I can say good night.
As you please. Well, I'm sorry I was offensive. Good night.
Oh, well, the tongue is an unruly member, is it not?
Yes.
Yes.
I was tempted. I was tempted, but I did not fall. I did not fall. The thing's safe. I swear it. When you told me you'd come back from the grave, how could I believe you? I never knew such things could be. Got it! The girl! She has it! I swear it! Oh, oh.
What's the matter with you? You look as if you'd seen a ghost.
I have. I saw Morland as plainly as I see you. I'm going to mix myself a drink.
Betty, just a minute.
Well?
I have an idea they're trying to scare us out of this house.
I'm here with Don Juan DeMarco, and so we are asking people, if you had a pet dragon, what would you name it?
I would call it Don Juan DeMarco the dog. He will be live at DragonCon right here with this beautiful guy and all these beautiful people. Happy DragonCon 2023. I love y'all. Do you have any more questions, big brother?
What would your dragon breathe?
My dragon would breathe Mary Jane, if you know what I mean. So, Mary Jane only.
Probably a green dragon then.
Pretty much. With a little black in it and a little green in it.
Absolutely.
And maybe a little white too.
Hey, why not?
With a little bourbon and a couple beers and shots. This is what we do at DragonCon. I got my partner right here. I'm promoting him, endorsing him. Y'all see it. He's doing his thing.
He's doing his thing. And quite well.
Oh, excuse me. I'm trying to catch up with Mustard Dan.
I'm here with Morticia Gomez, and we are asking people, if you had a pet dragon, what would you name it?
Munchie.
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 Munchie. Any particular reason why Munchie?
Because we have a dragon, and his name is Munchie.
Oh yes. Kept under the stairs, perhaps?
He roams freely.
Does he breathe anything in particular?
Hot air.
Hot air. Are you enjoying the show?
We are.
Excellent. It's good to see you both. You're both gorgeous.
You as well. Thank you.
I'm here with Nolan Stephen. We are asking people, if you had a pet dragon, what would you name it?
Janus.
Janus?
I would call him Fossil.
Ooh, why those names?
Well, Janus is the Roman god of doorways, and he has like multiple heads, and I've always seen dragons and reptiles as like regeneration type of new life images.
That is a fascinating answer, the best one yet. You, sir?
Fossil, because that's the name of my character Pseudo Dragon in her D&D game that
perfect.
she runs.
Would they breathe anything in particular?
Ooh, Janus would probably breathe like glass.
I like that.
Unfortunately, he'd just be a fire dragon. It's a little lame, I know.
No, never lame.
He's red, so... you know.
Perfect. You can set things on fire. How cool is that?
Right.
Having a good show.
It is very... We're having a good time.
We just met Voltaire. It was amazing.
Oh, wonderful. Yes. Yes, he is a delight. Yes. Well, thank you so much for your time. This has been wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
I'm here with Beetlejuice and Sir.
That was one time.
Oh, yes, I better be careful.
I like one time. I like 2 times.
Just 2 more. Okay, I have to be careful.
What is this?
It's a camera, Mr. Beetlejuice. Oh, that's 2 times. Oh, damn. Well, tell me, sir, if you had a pet dragon, what would you name it?
You know, I've always liked the name Jimmy.
Why Jimmy?
Because,
yes.
That's what I call
that sort of Jimmy.
My special friend.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I almost hesitate to ask this, but would Jimmy breathe anything in particular, being a dragon?
Pea soup at this time in my existence.
Yes.
It is what it is.
Good point.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Mr. Beetlejuice.
Party time!
Well, sorry, everybody. He's going to be running around now. It's all right. I'm here with Buddy, and so we are asking everyone, if you had a pet dragon, what would you name it?
Candy corn.
Ooh, why candy corn?
Because you know us else, we love to stick to the 4 main food groups: candy, candy corn, candy canes, and syrup.
Would it breathe candy corn?
Ooh, that would be so cool. Or maybe it'd bring maple syrup.
Ooh, yeah, I like.
And then he could just breathe it on like my pancakes, and it would already be toasted up, you know.
And would he be like an orange, white?
That's what I was thinking, like an orange dragon, maybe a white belly, you know, maybe some yellow on his like shoulders. Yeah, that would be an awesome dragon.
Little black tip on the tail, perhaps.
Yes. No, that would be perfect, and Santa would approve.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, buddy.
You're welcome.
I hope you have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to you as well.
Thank you, sir. I'm here with Chrissy, and we are asking people, if you had a pet dragon, what would you name it?
I'd name him Bojangles.
Oh, why Bojangles?
Because it's silly and there's cognitive dissonance.
That is true. Would he breathe anything in particular?
Hot oil?
Ooh, hot oil. Oh, yes. Yeah, that's not a bad choice. Actually, yes. Or would he lounge in like long forgotten restaurants?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that'd be his secret lair.
Eat fried chicken and tater tots?
Yes, for sure. Are you having a good show?
I am. It's been a lot of fun.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
I'm here with Saruman, and so we are asking people, if you had a pet dragon, what would you name it?
I would have a pet dragon. I already have a pet dragon.
Well, that's a good point.
The name is Blaudrake.
And what does he breathe?
Electricity. Electricity. It fires up my house. I never have to pay a single Georgia Power bill.
That's fantastic.
Indeed it is.
It keeps all your devices charged.
Oh, yes.
Including the staff?
Including my staff, including my cell phone, including my, well, I never watched the television. Because, you don't really believe anything on television these days. But
and anything you need to watch, you could just watch in your home.
That is true. But you never know about the Palantir. You don't know who has all of them.
That is true.
Because this Palantir is a direct link with the Dark Lord himself, Sauron. Should I recite the verse for you?
Absolutely, sir, yes.
Ashnaz Dorbagatulu, Ashnaz Gimbatul, Ashnaz Krakatuluk, Dagbuzishi Krimbatu, Dagbuzishi Makagulshu Darulu. One ring to rule them all, one ring to find them, one ring to bring them all, and in the darkness bind them.
Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Absolutely. Enjoy.
I will.
There's no use blinding ourselves to the facts. There must be something pretty big at stake.
Something that depends on getting rid of us.
That's how it looks to me.
What are we going to do? Who's there?
Betty, I'm going down to that tomb and find out whether it's the only way we've got of finding out what's going on around here.
Well, I don't want to be left here alone. Can I come too?
There's nothing wrong with your nerve. Come on.
I'll put on a pullover and some thicker shoes.
All right. Is this yours?
Yes.
I'll keep an eye on Broughton. Well, I think you've every chance of seeing things if you lower Scotch at that pace.
Wait. I'll come down. What do you want?
There was somebody in the library.
Who?
I don't know. The door. It's shut. It's shut.
Don't scream.
Oh, that's what I need. The command in your wonderful voice.
Come with me.
I think you've gone far enough with your insinuations.
Yes, and I may go a great deal farther. What is it? What's the matter?
I've seen him.
Now perhaps you'll believe what I told you.
Get me a glass of water quickly, will you?
Thanks. I wasn't hurt, only frightened.
Broughton, see if you can find Miss Caney, will you?
It's wonderful to be with a man who isn't afraid.
I am afraid.
You, who have ridden barebacked over the desert.
If you don't stop chattering, I'm afraid I shall have a knife in my back.
But when I'm with you, I have to talk. It comes like poetry.
Are you prepared to obey me?
In anything.
Then close your eyes and don't speak for 10 seconds.
We all panic sometimes.
I felt his hands on me.
That's why I know it was no ghost.
It was no ghost. Look at the clock. It's nearing the hour. I know where you'll find him now. He's gone back to the tomb, to his heathen gods.
And you and I will follow in there. Wait a minute. What's his doctor's telephone number?
Yaxford 72.
Look, the door's open and there's a light.
I'll go no nearer. I'll go no nearer.
I can see a shadow moving.
I go no nearer.
Well, then, go back. What about it, Betty? Do we go on?
Yes, of course.
Thought you'd say that. Hartley! So you're not a parson, just a dirty cook.
You'd better get out of my way.
Your hand, eh? So that's how it was done.
I wouldn't come any nearer.
I don't have to.
Look, if you please. Thank you. Come on now.
It's nothing.
Come and sit down.
Where's the key?
He threw it away.
When I phoned the doctor, I told him to bring the police. They ought to find us somehow.
Oh, even if they do come, how can they break down that door?
They'll find a way.
I'll make a bandage.
The
doctor in charge didn't understand the case. I'm afraid of catalepsy.
Meaning?
Morlant was buried alive.
Oh, Mr. Dragore, what were those shots?
Out of my way.
Where are the others?
Leave me alone!
Oh.
I rather thought you might be leaving in a hurry with something in your pocket that doesn't belong to you. Hand it over.
You win. That woman! There she is!
Come now.
Oh, you put up your gun, you fool! I tell you, she's got it!
Come on, then.
Stop!
Now, Miss Caney, if you please.
I don't think so.
You fool!
If either of you two horrible men so much as move, in it goes.
But you don't know the value of that jewel.
I don't care for the value, it'll go. And if you shoot, I'll go with it. I mean it. Down 30 feet. And about 60 feet of water. And then Australia.
I can't see to tie this. That light seems much lower.
Hartley! Quick, come on, get out, get him out of here.
The door! The door!
Shut!
The flames! They mustn't reach the door!
It's no good, you can't breathe in there.
The cartridge! It's here! If only... If only... I've had enough of this, Miss Caney. Supposing I'm ready to shoot and take the risk.
You'd be taking a bigger risk than you think.
I'll take that gun, thank you.
Now look here.
That'll do. Now, what's the trouble?
This. They're after it. All of them. It belongs.
I'll carry her to the house.
Get back! Back in that corner!
We hope you have enjoyed tonight's film, The Ghoul. Please feel free to email us your comments about it. Also be sure to check out our blog, Facebook fan page, Twitter feed, Weird-O-Rama.com, and our Patreon page if you are feeling generous. The lie? Ghoul was not the third British horror film to feature sound. It was the first, believe it or not. So for all of us at Weird-O-Rama, this is Victor von Psychotron telling all of you to stay weird.
I order you, Gloria Irving. I order you to arise and obey me. Obey me.
Have you ever heard of voodoo? Of the resurrection of corpses to serve Satan?
Drops of human blood. Corpses that have disappeared. Voodoo. Voodoo. Hawkins, here in London, someone is resurrecting corpses, creating zombies. Yes, zombies to wreak vengeance. Zombies which murder, which torment, which kill.
Vengeance of the Zombies will initiate you in the darkest secrets of Hindu conjuring. You will witness the unknown rites of voodoo. In an orgy of blood and horror. Vengeance of the Zombies, with Paul Naschy in a dual creation, and the presentation of Romy, Myrta Miller, and Vic Winner as Lawrence. A fascinating drama of ancestral and ancient rites in today's modern world of London. Vengeance of the Zombies.